Alright, sorry about that. This is what happens when you use a stupid iPhone to freaking record. So I was at the end credit scene. Apocalypse, Apocalypse been beaten. We seen the Sentinel thing. So then we get the end credit scene with the briefcase saying Essex Corp, and I was really excited about that because ever since the first X-Men movie, I'm like, I want to see Mr. Sinister in these movies, and it looks like we're finally gonna get it. But who knows when that next X-Men movie's coming out? I think it might come out right after they do, possibly after they do the Gambit movie, when Wolverine 3 is finished, and possibly after Deadpool 2. Maybe they do X-Force in that first, then they go back to X-Men, who knows. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Mr. Sinister. I want to know who they're going to cast as Mr. Sinister, because you gotta have somebody that can talk intellectual. I heard Bryan Cranston is interested in the character. And yeah, he might be a good actor, but I want someone else as Sinister. We got Oscar Isaacs as Apocalypse, which was great. And like I said, I could give two cares about Oscar Isaacs and Force Awakens. He really didn't. Poe Dameron really didn't appeal to me. I know a lot of people say, well, he's going to be the next Han Solo. And I'm sure people probably didn't like, well, I don't know, because people didn't watch my last video much, so they don't know what I said about Oscar Isaacs as Poe Dameron. Maybe they'll watch this and they'll see what I thought of it. But this was a good movie. I'm going to give this movie, because it is the second best X-Men movie. But before I give the rating, I will talk about some of the flaws. One of them, Apocalypse was inconsistent with his powers. Mystique still was not blue enough in this movie. Neither was Nicholas Hoult as Beast, but people complain more about Jennifer Lawrence than they do Nicholas Hoult. And honestly, I thought in Days of Future Past, both of them got more into the role of being their blue characters, because, you know, in First Class, it started out, both of them were uncomfortable with their characters anyway. And Beast was only had big feet, so he could just take shoes and cover up his feet. But when he injected himself with the serum, it caused him to turn to Beast. So it seemed like he was kind of comfortable being more Beast-like in Days of Future Past. Like with Mystique, seemed like she was more comfortable being Mystique in Days of Future Past. But that's one of the biggest flaws I had with it. They weren't blue enough. Havoc dying, I was not happy about that. I understand why, though. And now I know all Havoc's purpose was to bring Cyclops into this one. So let's see, what else? A couple scenes with the CGI and green screen didn't mix too well. Apocalypse, although the movie's about him as the main villain, they really didn't focus on him much. A lot of the focus was directed toward Magneto and his path to the dark side. And honestly, I know they were paying homage to the whole thing with what Magneto said to Xavier at the end of the first X-Men movie. With what were you going to do? They just twisted a couple words with it, because Magneto called them children, and well, Michael Fassbender's Magneto called them children, and he said pretty much the same thing Patrick Stewart said to Ian McKellen's Magneto. So I really enjoyed the movie. I think, like I said, the flaws did not bother me that much. There were quite a few flaws. One of them being Apocalypse was not the main focus. Magneto was. You did get a scene remembering back to First Class, and you know, a lot of this movie kind of recalled back to both movies, like Days of Future Past and First Class. So, especially when Magneto finally decided to go good, he was remembering how Xavier was talking about, you know, there's more to you, and Xavier even told him after he got captured, there's more to you than this. I like that scene. I think McAvoy, and I know I said in my non-spoiler review last night, I would love to see both of them come back, but I'm sure Fassbender's on to work on Assassin's Creed, and I'm hoping it does well, because from what I'm hearing about Warcraft, it's getting bad reviews already. But X-Men Apocalypse got bad reviews, and it's the second best X-Men movie ever. Which I'm going to get to why I think it did get bad reviews. And I'm not going to say a lot of these people were bought off, but I am going to say a good number of them might have been bought off. But, yeah, so I'm not going to Grace Randolph. I'm not trying to take a cheap shot at her. I have a lot of respect for Grace. I love her videos. I love her opinion. But now I'm going to get into this. This movie got so many bad reviews, and you got Collider gave it. They didn't give it that bad of a review. Not as bad as Batman v Superman. Rotten Tomato, bunch of newspaper critics gave it bad reviews. Siskel and Ebert came back from the dead and freaking gave it bad reviews. No, I'm joking. And I know that was a tasteless joke, but oh well. And here's my thing, and yeah, I called a lot of them idiots because a lot of them were freaking idiots. Because a lot of them said the same stuff they said about Batman v Superman. And in no way, shape, or form, yes, I did see Batman v Superman. They were trying to set more up for the DCU universe. DCU movie universe. Yeah, they did too much of that in Batman v Superman. They should have focused on Batman, Superman, and all the other plots in that movie. That's why I gave that movie. Although I said it was my favorite Superman movie, I did give it a 3.5 out of 5 because of all the plot problems they had. I've also heard people say, "Oh, Apocalypse is Ultron from Age of Ultron." No, he's not. Apocalypse was not Ultron from Age of Ultron. Apocalypse was way better. Oscar Isaac playing Apocalypse was great, even though he was shorter than half the freaking people. And I still would have rather seen the guy from 3, or heck, they could have had the guy who was Apocalypse earlier in the movie freaking continue to be Apocalypse. But they already signed Oscar Isaac, so I guess they probably figured people wouldn't respond well to that guy, so even though he did look taller than Oscar Isaacs. And it really upsets me that all these critics gave it bad. And some cases like Collider and that, I think the reason why they gave it bad reviews is because it is following Days of Future Past, which is the best X-Men movie out there. I think that's why they gave it a bad review. They had so much expectation for this, but it didn't, I guess, meet all their high expectations they had for it, so that's probably why they gave it a bad review. IGN gave it a pretty decent review, so I'm not going to talk about them. And, you know, Rotten Tomato, I think a lot of the bad criticism was two things. People were paid off, critics were paid off by Marvel to bash this movie so that, because look what happened with Fantastic Four and Spider-Man when they both got bashed. Marvel got, well, they got semi-rights back to Spider-Man, but they got Fantastic Four back. And they got Spider-Man kind of back, semi. So that's why I think a lot of people gave it bad reviews, because Marvel probably paid them. And then too, a lot of people probably thought, well, you know, hey, if we gave that movie a bad review, and it got put back with Marvel's movie universe, because a lot of these critics have talked about they want it back on Marvel's movie universe. Maybe if we do this to X-Men, we'll get to see it back in the Marvel universe, which is just ridiculous. Look, the movie was good. Yes, there was flaws. Every movie has flaws. No movie is perfect. Even movies that have won Oscars have flaws. Movies that won Golden Globes have flaws. The problem is these critics and some of these fanboys, because I'm sure some of the fanboys that gave it bad reviews, which I watched a couple of them, probably gave it bad reviews because they're like, oh yeah, we did this with Spider-Man, and then look, it's back with Marvel. He was in Captain America Civil War. And now he's got the Homecoming, which Marvel and, you know, Disney or Marvel and Fox, or Marvel and Sony are co-producing. Fantastic Four got bashed real bad, went back to Marvel. Blade Trinity got bashed, went back to Marvel. What else? Oh yeah, Daredevil, which I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of other people did, but I know it was not great. And I can understand why some of those things. I'll do that sometime in a retro review. But yeah, these critics and these fanboys want to see it all go back to Marvel. And, you know, like I said, the movie was good. Second best X-Men movie to me. I do like X-Men 2, but I think it's overrated. X-Men Last Stand is not that great. But I'm not going to call it a terrible movie. And a lot of these critics are like, oh, this one's worse than X-Men Last Stand, or worse than... I don't know if it's gotten compared to worse than X-Men Origins Wolverine, but... which I don't get. I mean, yeah, there were some problems I had with that movie, but it didn't seem that bad as everybody made it out to be, but hey. And, you know, these critics know, too, and these fanboys know, they have the power to convince people not to go see these movies, because, look, me and my family, we went and seen, what, the 3:30 showing yesterday, and there was only enough people to fill up the top seats. Bottom seats, there was nobody in them. Auditorium was a big auditorium, and there wasn't many people in it. And I think that's mostly because of all the critics reviewing stuff. That's why I say, don't listen to all the critics, because lots of the times these critics got their own agendas. These critics have been paid off by the studios to freaking bash the movie, despite what other people might admit or not admit. Some people, yeah, they get way too high expectations for something. And then when it doesn't meet every expectation they have for it, they bash it. Some people just do it because they're like, oh yeah, if we do this, maybe it'll go back to this and that. Some people just don't like the franchise or like the characters or like the villains or whatnot. I mean, I've heard a lot of people over the years talk about how Apocalypse is one of their least favorite characters ever in X-Men, so... that's probably another reason, too, why this movie got bashed. Because, people don't care about Apocalypse as much as a lot of other people do, and some fans of the comics. And a lot of people's like, oh, he's one of the most overrated villains in the freaking blah, 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 blah. Hey, you know who else is overrated? And a lot of people might get mad at me for saying this. I like him myself, but Joker's overrated. And people, no matter what Batman movie it is, or what incarnation of Joker it is, everybody's excited about the Joker. He's an overrated villain, but nobody talks bad about him. Ultron, Thanos, he's overrated. I mean, look how much he freaking... yeah, he needs the freaking Infinity Gauntlet to freaking rule the world, and he's supposed to be this major, powerful being. He's overrated. People still wouldn't see that. And, you know, it just irritates me with these critics and some of these other fans who just do it because they want it to go back to Marvel. And that's why I think a lot of people are bashing this movie. The movie's good. I'm a big X-Men fan. I've loved X-Men for a long time. And trust me, if the movie was bad, I would have came out here and said, God, this was the freaking worst X-Men movie ever. And me being a big fan of X-Men, I didn't bash it. And, you know, like I said, big X-Men fan, and I said that X2 was overrated. So, you know, and X-Men The Last Stand, I've said it was bad. Wolverine 1, yeah, I don't think it was as bad as everybody else does, but I know it's not that good of a movie. But overall, I'm going to give X-Men Apocalypse a 5 out of 5. And screw any critics who had their own agendas or the reason why they did it because they were paid, because I'm guaranteeing you Rotten Tomatoes and some of them other critics that do reviews for newspapers or on websites or that probably were paid to freaking bash the movie so that Disney and Marvel could try to get the rights back to the movie. That'll do it for this video. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Also got news. I'm going to try to get a poll out on my Facebook fan page asking you, the fans, do you want me to talk about, for my next video, do you want it to be a Ninja Turtle topic video? Or do you want it to be about the WWE Raw or the WWE brand split? So I'll try to put that up probably sometime tomorrow, and I'll let you know the results probably before I do the video. But yeah, follow me on my Facebook fan page, Mr. Hornsby83 Topics. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Hornsby83. And until next time, peace out.